So, women's solo, Final A, the World Rowing Coastal Championships 2024. 18 competitors in this race. We had 3 heats yesterday. From each of those heats, the fastest 6 made it through here to the final. And it's going to make for some super exciting racing. Conditions yesterday were very challenging and there was a lot of battles out there, but we have whittled it down to the top 18 rowers in the world in the coastal women's solo, and they're getting ready to head off in the next few minutes or so. So crews launching from the beach and they head out to shoreline. We can see Monika Dukarska there of Ireland, the reigning world champion from Barletta last year. She won her heat yesterday, so I'm sure she's feeling pretty confident. But just as she's sitting there on the water, you can see how bouncy it is there with the wind kind of coming straight in from the offshore, coming straight onto the beach here. So crews launching from the beach, heading out. There's a warm-up area to the right-hand side of the shots that you're seeing there now. So a little course that they can head out around, get the final bit of warm-up going before the start of the race. 30 seconds to the start. Now we're looking at the starting boat here, so anyone who's unfamiliar with the starting sequence, it starts with 3 minutes where we have 3 balls up in the air and 3 hooters. We've already seen 2 of those dropped, so there's 1 left, so we're into the final minute of the starting sequence here, and then once the hooter goes, once the ball drops, crews will be heading out. Now, I am delighted to have another guest commentator hear me for this solo race. Running in the door here, Aubrey Oldham of Canada. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me for this. The start's actually going off here, so we'll watch that.
So starting sequence, yes, and we can still see Monika Dukarska of Ireland 01 there in shot. Of course, it's a water start this year, floating start, so it's really important that you get a nice position there on the start line. Doesn't look like there's too much trouble so far. I think everyone had enough space there.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It looks like there was a clean start for everybody. It's a little less likely to have those collisions we see in the bigger boats, and we'll definitely see something in the quads.
Absolutely, yes, yeah, a little bit more space when you're in one of those solo boats. So early showing here looks like France 01, which is Jessica Berra here. Loads of experience in a lot of these crews, but it is really challenging here already, even on this first leg. The wind is coming straight in on them, so it is a bit of a side wind onto the side of the boat here now. So Jessica Berra there, just leading out Diana Dimchenko and Monika Dukarska then of Ireland. They're your top 3. They were the top 3 last year. I wonder, will it be a repeat?
Yeah, it's easy just to always side with the favorites from the previous year, and sometimes that does pan out, but there's sometimes someone comes from the back of the field. And I think this year, with the added challenge of the condensed schedule today, a lot of these women have raced at least once, if not twice already today, and some within the last hour or two.
Absolutely, yes, they're 4th place at the moment, USA 1, which is Christine Cavallo. We saw her in the women's double just a little while ago. She teamed up with Annalise Hall, who's also in here. She's USA 2, down in 11th position at the moment. So they literally had about an hour recovery there now, and they're back out again here. But Jessica Berra trying to make her mark here now in these early stages of this race. Just leading it out, we're coming up to about halfway down that first leg here now, ahead of Diana Dimchenko of Azerbaijan and Monika Dukarska of Ireland. Now, you know somebody in this race?
My mixed doubles partner, Sarah Pigeon from Canada, is seeing this race. Right now she's in 18th position, but that doesn't mean much at the start of the race, so there's still lots of time.
Absolutely, there is. And you both rowed together earlier on. How did you find it out there?
The conditions aren't like wild like we've seen in the last few years, especially in Wales. But there are some challenging conditions to row through. There's nothing really to surf, so it's more of just getting through what's out there.
Getting through and staying nice and clean would be the important thing here now. So Jessica Berra there now still leading it out, but we can see the speed of Diana Dimchenko's boat now. She's just getting up there. Depends on what part of the wave they are on when the speed is taken. Monika Dekarska then holding on to third position. The three of those rowers, it was Monika won her heat yesterday, Diana Dimchenko won her heat as well, and then Jessica Berra was third in her heat, but I don't think yesterday was showed really the potential of the rowers here at all.
Yeah, it's different conditions today than it was yesterday, and obviously tomorrow would be a little rougher with the thunderstorms expected, so it's just different every race. You can't always say the winner from the previous one's going to keep winning this one.
Absolutely. It's all about the sport adapting to what is in front of you. And I think for Jessica, who finished third last year behind Monika and Diana, I think it's really important for her. She probably had a strategy to get out ahead here and maybe play a bit of the psychological game with the two of them, because it's much nicer position to be in, sitting in front and looking back at them as opposed to looking over your shoulder and trying to catch them.
Definitely. It's definitely a lot better from the mental point of view to sit in front of someone. And have that edge just to be able to see the field, to see your competition and know when they're going. You just have to be able to have the fitness to back that up to support it, because you can also wear someone down from behind, and you can take advantage of that if someone has jumped to an early lead who can't sustain that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're watching the leaders here now. Great racing here, going back and forth between Azerbaijan and France. Monika Dekarska of Ireland right up alongside them. So at this point we're about 300 metres away from that first turning marker. It's not too sharp, but still it's really important to have a good line here. What would you be recommending at this point of the race?
Definitely. It's important in all of these turns. You do not want to get hung up on the buoy, especially if you're in a tight race with these other boats. They do look quite spread out on the camera view here, but as they approach the buoy, they're going to be coming in towards that narrow point together. So it is important to get that gap so that you're not hung up on it.
Absolutely, and as you said, lots of space between them at the moment. I'm sure they're trying to stay out of each other's way, but I'm sure it'll start to get tighter now as we come up towards the turn. In that fourth position then, at the moment, we have Finland 1, Eva Karppinen. She was fourth last year, so we have the top four in the top four positions here now again. And as we can see, it's going back and forth between Diana, Jessica and Monika. With every stroke they pull, someone is moving into the lead. Then back in fourth and fifth, we have Norway 01 and Peru 01. Those top four boats seem to be pulling a little bit away from the rest of the field at this stage, but we're still very early on. We haven't even got to the first turning marker now, but really important. You can see them looking over their shoulders, and that's so important in the solo, isn't it? Because any wave can just push you off course.
Yeah, it's definitely important to be aware of what's going on around you. You also don't want to be constantly looking at those waves. You got to focus in your own boat as well. Just looking at the numbers, they haven't really shown on the screen. On the overhead you can see, but there's a fight developing behind the leaders too. So that gap between the 5th and 7th or 8th is pretty tight still.
It is really tight. We can see here things are starting to close up here. They're starting to move closer to each other, which was expected around the turn. Hopefully they can all stay nice and clean. So it is Diana Dimchenko now who has opened up about half a length of clear water over Monika Dekarska, who's moved into second. Jessica Berra then in third, and then Eva Karppinen of Finland, in fact, just overtaking Jessica. Jessica had to go very tight there to that turn.
Yeah, she just wanted to get that tight inside turn. Some athletes prefer doing the wider turn where you don't have to slow as much around it, but the inside turn sometimes can kind of whip around and take that little bit of an edge.
Absolutely. Now, you were saying your doubles partner Sarah, of course she's racing in this. What did she do in the time in between here to prepare for this final?
She just took some time to go back to the hotel and get out of the heat. It's quite a hot, humid day here today, so there's a little bit of a near collision there, looks like.
Yes, France and New Zealand there at the back of the field, just getting caught up on each other.
Yeah, it looks like they both stopped before a serious collision, which, even if there was a penalty given, is a really bad thing for both athletes because of the penalty for one and also the other boat's damage potentially. And and slowed down. So it's good to stop on both sides to avoid those.
Absolutely, it is indeed. So Diana Dimchenko continuing to open up a little bit of water here over Monika Dukarska in that second position. We can see a bit of a wash coming here towards the boat. So this is important here to stay nice and clean through the water. Look at Diana Dimchenko there of Azerbaijan looking so controlled as she heads out towards that second marker. Boats disappearing out of our view. That just goes to show how bouncy it is out there. Then you can see the meters, the gaps between them. Things really starting to open up between first, second, and third now.
It looks like the athletes are separating quite a bit more. The gap between third and fourth is still quite tight, though.
Yes, Jessica Berra and Eva Karppinen there of France and Finland right up alongside each other here now. So Jessica, who had led it out from the start, back now in third position, but it looks like Eva is coming for her here now. Eva hoping to make that podium this year, just missing out last year. She finished third at the European Championships this year. And Diana, of course, Dimchenko there leading it out. So much experience. She has been here at every World Championships doing so well, as has Monika Dukarska. They have so many World Championship titles between them, as has Jessica Berra. So it's great to see the top three, but Jessica now after moving down to fourth and Eva moving herself into third.
And we can't rule out any of the athletes who are just in that pack right behind them either. We've got fresh off the Olympics, Jackie Kittle from New Zealand, who could make a move at any point. We know the fitness is there.
Absolutely, yeah. She just unlucky to miss out on a medal in Paris. Fourth position in the lightweight women's double. She also raced just a little bit a while ago in the second heat of the mixed doubles. She had a great race, herself and Matt Dunham with the other New Zealand crew. It looked like they've raced each other all the way around the course. Here she is, as you said, holding on to fifth position here, and like she's not too far behind those medal positions at the moment.
No, not at all.
So we're still seeing Diana Dimchenko here leading it out there already after passing that halfway mark. So at this turn, this is the sharp turn. When you have space like the top three boats have now, do you want to go narrow? Do you want to go wide? What would be your approach?
I think it just really depends on the situation. If you're going a little bit wider, you do lose that water, the distance, but going tighter, you slow the boat speed down. So it looks like most of them are doing a fairly tight turn, some even holding water and doing a somewhat handbrake turn, which we see in the beach sprints, just to get that tight corner.
Yes, things changed there a little bit. It looks like Jessica Berra took a nice line there, and I think she's after potentially overtaking Eva of Finland there now again for that third position. It's going back and forth between the two of them here for third and fourth position. And as you mentioned, Jackie Kittle very much staying within touching distance. Lots of boats coming in here now close together. This is what happens. We're going to have a collision.
Yeah, this is coastal rowing here. This is what not necessarily the best for the boats, but it does make it exciting even when you're in that.
It does, but they actually managed well there. They kind of stopped and moving away from it themselves. If they're not careful, they're going to get stuck up on each other here again, but it is allowing. There's four boats after passing them here now. Fifth one coming in back up behind them. Looks like they're still stuck.
You can feel the frustration in those boats. They just want to go, and sometimes you just have to take a breath and just move away slow and then get going again.
So a leader is here now of the pack. Diana Dimchenko of Azerbaijan on the right-hand side. Monika Dukarska of Ireland on the left-hand side. They have met each other so many times on the water. Monika getting the better of Diana last year at the World Championships. Opposite way around now. What do you think is going through Monika's head right now?
I think after the performance earlier when she was doing so well, I think that she still knows that she can still do it. 34 seconds is quite a lot, 35, but you never know what could happen here. We could have a bad stroke or two, or even running into the buoy or something, but it does look like she is firmly in second, and it would take a bit of a slip up to catch up to first at this point.
I think so, and we've been seeing the last few races, the wind direction, it's pushing these boats onto the shore, and so these legs where we see them heading back towards us at the beach here, really interesting to see the experienced rowers against some of the more newer ones, because the experienced ones are allowing for that wind and are heading out towards the open water a little bit, whereas the more, we'll say the less experienced ones are allowing their boats being carried by the wind, which is not ideal, obviously.
You do want to be in control of where the boat's going, and sometimes to be able to move with the waves, you have to go out a little bit, arc the line so that the wind's going to push you back in a little bit. So the experienced athletes really know how to do this well.
They do indeed. So there it is, still Diana Jimchenko still leading it out here. 11 seconds of a lead over Monika Dukarska in second. Very close now. It is Jessica Berra who is back in that bronze medal position ahead of Eva Karpenen of Finland. But Jackie Kittle right up on their tails in that fifth position. So this is where things get interesting now. We're entering the chicane here. Do you think it's possible for boats to overtake each other at this, or is it more difficult?
I think it really depends. I think that there's opportunity to take the turns well and be able to do the overtaking. I think these athletes are very experienced in this top group, so they're less likely to mix up. The real interesting part will be...
I think she's unsure which line she's going. Yeah. This is what happens. She has gone the wrong side of that marker. That is Diana Jimchenko, who had been leading it out. This is the problem when you're in the lead. You're never sure, or sometimes you're not sure. This is allowing Monika Dukarska to move here to the right side of the buoy. I'm not sure Diana knows she has gone wrong here now because she is not correcting her line. Yeah, this is not a place you want to be in.
I would have to review actually what the penalty is for missing a turn, but I can't imagine it's less than the distance between Diana and Monica right now. So I think she did know she missed it. She slowed down, and she's probably just going to push ahead and hope for the best. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you can see her actually upping her rate here now, hoping to maybe open up that gap now that she has over Monica. I'm not sure if she'll be able to make up the amount of ground she needs, but she does have quite a lead here now. There's still 25 meters between them in Monika's head here now. I'm sure she is thinking she could potentially win this race now as long as she stays on the tail of Diana. This is so hard when you're in the lead because you've no one to follow, and you really have to just know where your course is. And even for experienced rowers like these, to get it wrong, it just happens so easily.
Exactly. It can happen to anybody. And again, when you're in the lead, you really don't. You have to be spot on where these buoys are. A lot of the athletes have memorized the course. They've gone out there on it already, at least in their heat, if not in another boat, so they know where to go. And it's just devastating when something like that happens. And I'm unsure if Monica or any of the other athletes even know that she's missed the buoy.
I'm not sure either.
We're not sure.
Yeah, because they're not told, obviously. Monica's not going to be told. She may not have been looking around her shoulder at the point when Diana went wrong there. And you can really see Diana is trying to put on such a big push here now. I think she knows she might be in trouble. If Monika cops onto what has happened, I'm sure she'll be putting on that big push here now. Still Jessica Berra in that third position. Eva just outside medals right now. There's still only about 13 meters between Jessica and Eva here now. Jackie Kittle just falling back maybe slightly. She's still in that fifth position, but about 25 meters now between herself and fourth position. Yeah,
it's still quite tight there, though. I don't think any of those athletes feel safe in their position. They can look behind and they still see those athletes in view in a spot on the podium potentially.
Absolutely, yes, indeed. And you can see here again the different angles here that people are taking. I just saw, I think Jessica was heading over. Monika realised she's gone wrong here now, or she's just coming up to a buoy there. There's Jessica Berra now coming in currently in third, but potentially in second, depending on what happens with Diana Jimchenko and missing that turn. Then Eva now in fourth. Again, we're unsure if she knows she's in for a medal potential here as well. But we're coming in towards final stages of this race. If that was you and you missed a turn, would you go around and fix your course, or would you just go for it?
I'd have to review what the penalty is. I would hopefully not miss the turn, but you never know. We're all human, so we can err on those courses. And it is coastal rowing, so it does not flat water where it's easier to keep the line. We'll find out when she comes in towards the penalty box if she's awarded a penalty or not.
Absolutely, so we're going to start to see that come into view here now. So around the second last turn to the last turn, then she will be called by the umpires up to the penalty box if she did get that penalty, and a minute for missing turning buoy. There's definitely not a minute between herself and Monica at this stage. Monica really putting on a big push here now, so we'll see if she's ushered into that penalty box, where she will literally just have to sit there and try and hold her boat steady before she's told to take off again. Jessica Berra then is currently in that third position on the water, followed, and she's putting on a bit of a push away from Eva Karppinen. Jackie Kittle then in fifth, and those 5 boats really have opened up a lot of water across the rest of the field.
Yeah, the top 5 are definitely ahead of the others, even the top 4 at this point. Looks like Jackie's solidly in that 5th position for now.
Yes, of course. So Jackie will have the mixed double final coming up shortly as well. So I'm sure she'll have to make a decision here at this stage and either fight for a medal here, which I think she's just a little bit off it now at this point, or whether she saves herself because she's in for a medal potential again a little later on. So we're coming into the final 300 meters or so of this race. On the water, it is still Diana Jimchenko leading it out from Monika Dukarska of Ireland. Jessica Berra of France then ahead of Eva Karppinen. So last 250 meters, have we passed the penalty box?
Yes, we did pass it. So I'm wondering if we saw that correctly, but I'm fairly confident we saw her on the wrong side of the buoy.
Or else everyone else went wrong.
Perhaps.
Yeah, there was some went one side of it, the others went the other side of it, so we'll have to see what happens here now. But coming up to the finish line, it is Azerbaijan with 200 meters to go, holding off Monika Dukarska, but Jessica Berra is making a bit of a push here now. She's currently in third position. Final shots here now, 130 meters to go here. Diana Dimchenko leading it out here, upping her rate here, still holding it quite steady. You can see just how much the boat is moving, but this is our first A final of the day, a final few strokes. What a shot here now, 3 boats behind each other. It is Diana Jimchenko of Azerbaijan, and we'll have to clarify what went on at that turning point a little earlier on. But on the water here, it is Diana Jimchenko leading it out. Brilliant time there of 20 minutes, 25.31 seconds. Here in second position, holding off the challenge from Jessica Berra, we have Monika Dukarska, Ireland, representing Kilorglin Rowing Club, in second position. And then there was a great race here happening, but it is Jessica Berra finishing third position on the water here, representing France 1, followed in by Eva Karppinen of Finland 1, finishing fourth this year, fourth last year as well. An unlucky place to be, but again we'll have to clarify what went on at that turning buoy.
Regardless of the turning buoy, I think that was a dominant performance by Diana today.
I think so. I think even if everyone went the right side of those buoys, positions would have been the same. I don't think things would have changed too much. Then that is Jackie Kittle coming in that fifth position, her first time competing in the single at the World Rowing Coastal Championship. She's done the double before, won the mixed double at the beach sprints last year, but trying her hand at the endurance here. Really impressive finish in fifth position.
This looks like USA 1 coming through.
Yes, that is USA 1, Christine Cavallo there. Really great race there, finishing in 7th position. We also had Peru, Adriana Sanguinetti there of Peru in 6th position. USA Christine, who was only out a little while ago in the women's double, so she'll have that final coming up a bit later on now again. I'm sure she's glad they weren't 6-kilometer races.
Yeah, I'm sure with the condensed schedule, I'm sure a lot of these athletes were quite happy with the 4 kilometers.
Absolutely. So we're seeing Monika Dukarska there of Ireland. We're seeing Jessica Berra and Eve Karppinen of Finland. All crews now coming up to that finish line, finishing out the first final of the day, the women's coastal solo. And again, we'll just wait for clarification on that turning buoy and whether someone missed it or not. They're keeping us in suspense.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if we've misseen things.
I'm not sure.
But a wonderful race. There was
have.
some really tight racing, aside from the top pack in that lower area, 4th to 6th and 7th place, really tight. There was some movement in the bottom after that. Near collision by a few boats around one of those turning points. This is what makes coastal rowing exciting.
Absolutely. So of course we were focused on the leading boats, but as you said, sometimes the more exciting racing is happening down the pack in those fourths. Back down to 18th position, there's always great racing happening.
Exactly.
But here are the results. First place representing Azerbaijan, Diana Dimchenko. Then in second position, Monika Dukarska of Ireland. Jessica Berra, France, won in third. So top 3, same as last year, just changed position slightly. Eva Karppinen then of Finland in 4th. Jackie Kittle of New Zealand 5th. Adriana Sanguinetti of Peru in 6th. Christine Cavallo, USA 7th. Carlota Gonzalez Gil, Spain 1 in 8th. Chiara Halama of Austria, we watched her earlier in the mixed double as well, and Tia Maria Ratola of Finland in 10th position. That was some good racing.